All right, so hello everyone. Again, thank you very much for joining me today for a webinar on how to help you grow your business with the use of merx.com. So we'll go through a demo of merx.com. Of course, my name is Isabelle Moroni, and I am a marketing manager here at MDF Commerce, working for the merx brand. This might be news to you, it might not be, but merx is part of a bigger family. You might have seen some information earlier before the recording about that. So just to give you a little bit of a sense of who MDF Commerce is, MDF Commerce is a large organization that has 4 sectors of activity that you can see here. We have strategic sourcing, e-commerce, supply chain, and e-marketplaces. And then you can see where merx is found under that strategic sourcing sector. And together, all of us enable the flow of commerce. I apologize. So we work together, all of our different sectors. So that is MDF Commerce. And for today's Outlook, we're going to have a quick look at what's merx. We're going to have a look at the snapshot. We'll jump right into that demonstration right at the beginning. Figure that's the best way to dive in. We'll talk about our subscription packages. I will also touch on some procurement portals that give you additional access to even more business opportunities. Then we'll do a quick recap at the end, and I'll leave you with how to contact us. And of course, we will answer those questions with you. I just noticed that Keith was asking for the results of those polls that I sent out. I do apologize. I did not click on that section. I was just trying to be mindful of time. So thank you for your question. All right, so let's jump right in. A little bit about merx. So merx is a place where buyers and suppliers meet to work together to conduct business through the procurement process. It's a place to search and find business opportunities with public and private sector organizations where you can bid and win contracts to help you grow your business. In the last year, we've noticed some obvious pandemic trends, or pandemic purchasing trends rather, and I thought I would share some of these with you. So since March of 2020, we've had over 303 buying organizations that have chosen to use merx exclusively for their procurement needs. There's an average of 3,500, if not more, new open solicitations every day that are available on merx.com for you to access. In the last year, we've had over 11,000 exclusive solicitations that were posted on merx. And of course, when you include those portals that I will speak to later, that makes close to 18,000 opportunities available to you. And of course, we've noticed an increase in construction, medical, PPE, cleaning supplies, and suppliers for cleaning suppliers. So definitely you are in the right place today if you're looking to use merx.com as a tool for your advantage. So here's a quick snapshot of merx.com. So merx.com is a place for you to come and search for relevant opportunities in your region, your industry, or by goods or services. So you simply go to merx.com and enter those kinds of search keywords in the search field to find anything that's relevant to you. From there, you can create a saved search notification, which means we will email you every day that something that matches your search criteria is sent to you directly to your inbox. Once you find those opportunities, you can find them through the document request list, which is a listing of all the other organizations that have also downloaded those tender documents. And from there, you could potentially find some partnering opportunities or subcontracting opportunities with those other organizations that are also interested in that similar tenders. But what that also gives you is tells you potentially who your competitors are. Now, to learn more about our historical information, you can also access our database that goes back 7 years. And through there, you'll find out buying trends from specific buyer organizations who are looking for your goods or services. From there, you can also bid online. So obviously, since the pandemic has hit us, more and more people are going online, and you're able to submit your bids online. And so it's a safeguarding element that allows you to submit your bid online directly to the buying organization. And they do not have access to your bid until after the closing date and time. It's obviously a paperless process, and it completely safeguards you from your information. for your information. When it comes to winning a contract, obviously when you win more contracts, you're growing your business. But you can also search through our historical information on awards. So see who's winning specific contracts, and oftentimes the dollar amount for which they are winning the contracts, which is very specific to the public sector. But we have a large list of buyers that are on the public side. When you see that you have not won a contract, it's a good idea to always request a debrief from the buyer and ask questions specific to where you had based on the evaluation that the buying organization has done on your submission. And you can get some pointers on perhaps where you fell short or where you did really well. And then you can use that information for the next time you decide to bid on a contract. It's sort of like applying for a job where you tailor your resume for the job that you're applying for, and then getting that employer to tell you some pointers on where you did really well on your resume or your interview. It's that similar kind of idea. And then, of course, with a profile, this is offered to our premium subscribers. We can offer you a custom profile that allows you to sort of sell yourself to the buying organizations through the merx.com system. And through there, you can add your logo, your sales sheets, a bunch of other things that I will go through in the demonstration. And of course, you can define your working categories so that those buying organizations can find you and then help you win more business. So that's a bit of a snapshot about merx.com. Keith, I'll come back to your question. Now, of course, there's strength in numbers just before the demonstration. So I want to try and have you think about how you can optimize your access to opportunities by using the various features that I will talk to you through the demonstration. Of course, there is strength in numbers, as I mentioned. Consider that there are over 2,000 buying organizations from across North America that search through our large database of over 200,000 local, national, and international suppliers. Hundreds of billions of dollars in projects are posted on Merx every year. And we are proud to share that we are a fully Canadian organization headquartered in Ottawa. That's where I am. And it's time for you to compete for your share of these supply opportunities. So let's look at how you can find, be found, and compete for potential business opportunities with various organizations from the public, private sectors, as well as agencies, Crown and Crown corporations. And to that end, understand how to use the features on merx.com to help you with the competitive process, open, fair, and transparent for all bidding opportunities, all bidding companies. All right, so let's do that. I will get into my demo. Here we go. So we will go to merx.com here. So I'm always looking up because my monitor is up here over here. Obviously, you can come in here. You'll see the Canadian tenders includes all of those public organizations, private organizations, agencies, and Crown corporations are all found under the Canadian tenders flag here. And then we have US tenders and private construction, which I won't go on to any detail today, but I will talk about them a little bit later. But these are two additional services that we offer. We have sister organizations in the US that offer our US tenders service. So through Merx, if you're a Canadian organization that wants to do business with the US, you can do so through our US tender service. And if for those of you who are in the construction industry in Canada, our private construction service offers you details and information about upcoming construction projects that include, you know, your typical Walmarts, your Tim Hortons, your Starbucks. Whoops, what happened here? Oh, all of those types of organizations. So you're able to get some insight in some upcoming projects for those types of construction projects. And then you can come over here into the search field and enter any kind of keywords that make sense to you from your industry. So you know your industry best, so you'll be able to put those keywords that make sense for you to search. I always like to use the translation example, but we also have the popular categories that are found below. And at a glance, you can see how many are in each of the sectors. But you can go ahead and, you know, even if you wanted to put an area as well, you can do so in there and then just hit the magnifying glass and that will open up all of the results on the next screen. So you'll see there's 28 results for translation in Ottawa. And of course you can quickly clear that filter and, you know, start fresh, put any kind of information. If you already know the solicitation number, you can do so. Any title or any other words that make sense to you, give it a go. We also have, you can also filter by category. So if you wanted to go in there and select one of these categories, some of these categories are decided by the buying organization. So when you are clicking on one of those categories, click apply, and then it'll open up all of the tenders that are found in that category. Searching is just like anything. The more information you put in your search, the less results you will get. So just keep that in mind. So try and keep it broad, and then maybe play with the search to find things if you're looking for specific items, sort of like what Keith mentioned, where he's talking about UVC disinfection. You know, you want to make sure that UVC is found in the search. Let me remove this. And then UVC. And remember, I'm not even logged in yet, so you can see this type of information. So right now there doesn't seem to be anything, but would be a great idea for you to have a saved search with that information. And then over time, you know, we never know when a buying organization will be looking for that. Disinfection. Let me just remove that one. But it's pretty straightforward, you know, do your search. Disinfection. There might be some words. So there you go. So you have some information here. If you wanted to go in and look in the details of each one and look for other keywords that might be helpful for you to create your saved search once we get into the logged in version. And of course, you can look through the published times and the status of the solicitation. So this is basically our other databases that we have available. So anything that is open is found here, anything that is closed. So once a tender has closed, you can go back and see that historical information. So it kind of gives you some great insight into, you know, what the buying trends are from specific buying organizations. You can also look at bid results. Some organizations post their bid results through here. And then the awarded solicitations is also the database of contracts that have been won. And from there, you're able to see who won a contract and the amount for which the contract was won. So it gives you more insight and kind of some market intelligence about your industry. So that's really, really helpful. And of course, you can order everything by relevancy, take your pick. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. All the information is found there for, you'll see here for you, Keith, I did the awarded solicitations on disinfection. I didn't even realize it. So you could go in and have some look there and see what the other words that they are using. So maybe you might not find UVC, you might find UV, you might find other information there that might be super helpful for words in your search term. So hopefully that's helpful for as it relates to searching. So for now, I'm going to go log into our learning environment because I don't want to be submitting bids to real tenders. So I'll log into our, this is our tender, or sorry, our learning environment. So I'll just do that. And then we can have a look at the post login view of merx.com. So obviously at a glance, first thing you'll notice is there aren't a lot of opportunities here. And obviously that's because it's a training environment and the data gets changed every once in a while. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of solicitations. Now, one of my favorite things is here in the status section, you have in parentheses, the total amount of open solicitations that are available, of closed solicitations and of award solicitations. So you can quickly see at a glance how many there are. You can also notice here, we have all the solicitations. So what that means is all Canadian tenders. So if you wanted to separate by public tenders or by agencies, crown and private corporations, you can do so by clicking on these large buttons found at the top. Or if you were looking to go to the US tenders or private construction services, you could just simply click on those big buttons found there. Now, of course, you can do a search again from the keywords at the top, or you can just enter your solicitation number if you know it, or the title or what have you. And so use the search functionality found at the top in order to look for solicitations. And you'll see here with the little question mark, it gives you an explanation of the best ways to search. So that's really helpful for you. Keith, if you're looking for some other information, you can go ahead and look through here to get additional information. Now, if you wanted to refine your search while we're here, you could select the sections found on the left-hand side here if you were looking for a specific GSIN category, which is a good and services identification number that is often used by governments. UNSPSC category, you can go ahead and select through that if you wanted to. If you were looking for a specific organization, you could just break down all of those sections on the left to refine your search and have a look at what's available. Now, when you see something that you're like, oh, I like this, this is a really, really good search. So I'm just going to click on British Columbia because I see that there's one. Now, let's say that this was one that I was really interested in and I thought, oh, good. I want to save this search because I want to receive those emails as well in my inbox. So I don't have to keep coming onto merx.com to look every day for opportunities. So of course, you just click on that Save Search button. Now we'll open up the Save Search window and you can select the parameters just like we just did before. So you could do it before, you can do it after, whichever you prefer. And then you can go ahead and add that. So let me just put BC search. And then if you want to set it as a default, which means every time I log into Merx, the default results that will appear are based on that one. So I will untick that because I will show you later what happens there. And if you want to receive those awesome emails that will help you, you can just click on Get Notified of Opportunities. So then that will send you emails every day that something matches this search criteria. So let's go ahead and hit save on that. And then you'll notice we have this little pull down menu here that gives you all of the saved searches that you've created. And so you have them all available here. And when you simply click on them, all of the results will follow underneath. Maybe that one didn't have any. If I go back to my searches, it'll clear everything out and then everything will be available again. So you can do so in that way. Now to make any modifications to that, simply go to solicitations under saved searches here. And then from here, you'll notice that all of my saved searches are found here. I can choose to select one as a default. I can only have one of those. I prefer to not have one, so I'll leave that one unticked. But then you'll notice here the column for those notification emails. So you can have an unlimited amount of saved searches, as many as you want, but the notifications you can only have up to 10. And the reason being, you will receive one email that has all of them in one if there are opportunities that match those search terms. So they would put all of the 10 within that same email. So you can't really select more than that, but you can play around with different types of searches. If you were searching for French opportunities, for instance, you might have French search terms or English search terms. Sometimes you want to search just by location, or other times you want to use a keyword specific to, what it is that's niche in your industry. So you want to play around with those different types of things. And then under the action columns, you can go ahead and edit any of these opportunities, or save searches, or you can check the history. So you can modify these, every once in a while, perhaps every, 3 months, 6 months, you want to change some more. Maybe there's a new buzzword in town and you're like, oh, maybe I need to add that to my search term. I'm just trying to see if I have one that has more. I do in a different account, so that's okay, but you'll be able to notice the different edits that happened. Oh, so this one here has 3 edits to this search term. So you can go in and see, oh, I included the word roof and I was looking for BGIS. But before that, I had nothing related to BGIS. So you see the history of your saved search term. So it's kind of a neat little setup for you to see your historical information. And this recommendation section found below. So in some cases, buying organizations come to us at Merx. They call us up and they say, listen, we're looking for some new vendors for specific things. And so we would send you additional opportunities that you might have missed from your saved search, and it's not necessarily that you've missed them. It might be because this organization wants to invite you to a different type of tender. So you want to make sure to turn this on, but you can also turn it off if you find you're receiving too many emails. That would be under the recommendations section found here under saved searches. So let's go back to the search area. I just want to go and cover our bases on the administrative side of things. So that touches everything related to searches. Now, if we go to reports section, you can see there's this quick little dashboard here that gives you historical information. If you're looking for specific things in your news feed, you can do so. So any tenders that you might be following or that you're looking for information about, you would be able to see any activities related to those through the news feed, or any bids that you're currently working on will be found at the bottom here. The other thing here is the ordered documents. So your history of all of your documents that you've ever ordered on merx.com will be found here, and you can quickly access the solicitation by clicking on the solicitation number found here. So if you wanted to quickly go and have a look at it, you also have your confirmation number, which allows you to download the documents again. And your actions is related to if you're following that solicitation. And we'll come back to that. Now, also under reporting, obviously you have your managing reports. We're paperless at Merx. So if you're looking for any statements of any payments or any activities on your account, you would find that through here. You just simply click on transaction reports and then you'll be able to pull your statement. So the question little mark here will take you to our tutorials. And then if I go in the little profile guy here, I can go into my profile, and from here, I'm able to see the information related to me as a user. So you'll see it's Isabel from Merx, powered by MDF Commerce. And then I can see my information about me, the address, phone number. Make sure your email is an accurate email, because this is the email that we will send you those saved searches to. My preferences as it relates to my account, and my role and privileges. So you'll see the privileges that I have. I am a supplier admin here, so I'm able to have access to all of these privileges. Now, if I go back up here and I go to my organization, this is the fun part. I'm able to see the organization information, so everything related to the organization. And then there's this section here called other information. So I urge you to go in there and make sure that you update this area. So simply click on the pencil, and you'll want to put in this information, because buying organizations, when they're looking around at our database of vendors that are available to them, they will come and look at this stuff, especially when they're looking for specific types of organizations. So do enter your business structure, your business type. We are currently working on adding additional ones to the business type area. So, but feel free to use the other section if you need to add any others. If you have any certifications of any kind that you want to share, please do include them in this area. Click Save to continue. And then we have this great working category section that I mentioned earlier. So make sure that you do come in here and select that. This is how we decide to send you those recommended. So remember when we were in the save searches, I'm just going to quickly show you this. This recommended section here is based on that, what you select in your working category. So it's related to your organization. What is the category in which your organization is working under? So you can go in here and you can search by Merx categories, by GSIN, so those goods and services identification numbers, or by UNSPSC code. So just go ahead and tick the ones that make sense to you, click on save, and then those recommended emails will come to you based on what you select in here. And now we have the advertising information section, and this is offered to our premium subscribers. So this is where you can be self-promotional about your organization, and buying organizations can come here and view kind of your, it's like your online resume, if you will, of your organization through merx.com. So come in here, you can enter put a picture of your logo, you can do a company description in English and in French, you can highlight your products and services, in English and in French. Talk about any of your key customers. You can also include some promotional material, your sales sheets, your technical sheets, anything that you think is relevant to your organization. And of course, you can also include a YouTube video if you have one that's about your organization. So this section is available to our premium subscribers only. So do take the time to fill this out. It's becoming more and more popular, so I highly recommend it. And then if we go back up here, contact section is if you have any other employees within your organization that you want to have added to your account, you can do so. And then you just simply click on add a contact, fill the information out of their information. Obviously, you need to select a package for them so that they have access. And so you can sign them up as pay as you go. And then, of course, fill in their contact information here and then select their role and privileges. They will then receive an email and they will need to activate their account. And so you can also add a contact. The finance section is basically your credit card information and the types of services that you have with us. This is also a place where you can come get those statements about what your transactions are with merx. And if you wanted to add the US tenders or private construction services, you could do so from here as well. And then services is basically the subscription package that you have with us. So you'll see mine is a national subscription. And so I have access to everything. So that covers the admin side of things. So let's go have a look at a solicitation. And I prepared one for today's presentation. So I have this one here, sample RFP. And so I'm going to go ahead and click that one. So it takes us over to the description of this tender. And so you'll see a few different things that show up here. So the time left to bid. So this clock is very important. So it tells you how much time is left to bid. So do pay attention to this, because if it's an online bid submission, you want to make sure not to get there at the last minute and try and submit 5 minutes before it closes, because you might not make it. So do be mindful of how much time is left to submit. In some cases, you might have a time left to put your bid intent. So if you intend on bidding or not, so you can see based on what's written at the top. Now in the notice section, you'll see basic information about the tender, if there are any agreement types. So you want to read through all of this to make sure that makes sense to you. You'll notice there's a questions acceptance deadline, there's a closing date. The questions are submitted online. That's good to know. The contact information. So this is the buyer that's responsible for this solicitation. A description of the tenders. Andrea is asking time left to bid. Is that an Eastern Standard Time or converted to your time zone? It is converted to your time zone. So when you're wherever you are located, it will appear in your time zone. And make sure that in your account, so in your profile, that you set that up. So you can choose at the time of your registration, your time zone. So you'll see here, it's there. So if you selected your time zone, then that time clock will match for you. So hopefully that answers your question. And let's go back. And then through here, we have, this buyer is requiring some insurance and a certification on training. There's also a pre-bidding event that has instructions there. So we want to make sure to read all of that. There's even an event date. So pay attention to that. And your bid submission process is an electronic bid submission, of course, because today we will be doing one of those. There are some bid questions and there is a bid document list as well. So these are the documents that they are requesting from you. There's a couple of mandatory ones and 2 that are optional. And then that's that information for you. Now, if I go under categories, obviously it's the category in which this solicitation is categorized under. Then we have an amendment. So this means that there was a change to this solicitation. So I could simply click on it to have a view of what that is. And you'll see, it includes the COVID-19 policy. So that is the information. And then there's the document that's there. Now we get to the point of the documents. So documents and items are the documents from the buyer, so the tender documents that we're looking for. Now, before I go in here, I want to show you the document request list. So this is the list of the other organizations that have downloaded the document. So these could be your potential competitors, or they could also be partners that you might want to work with, or a way for you to get a subcontracting opportunity. Now, if you're new to this, sometimes it could be super overwhelming. And if it's a really, really large RFP, you know, maybe it's a good idea for you to work with another organization to submit a part of the work, you know, so that's a good way for you to get your foot in the door. And so a lot of public organizations do offer this as an option to keep things open, fair, and transparent for all bidding organizations. So do keep that in mind. So you'll see that there are 3 other organizations here that have downloaded the documents. So I could potentially reach out to them and say, hey, look, I'm looking at this tender, and I don't know, elevator pitch them, give them your pitch and say, maybe we can work together. There's different reasonings all behind it, but it does keep the process open, fair, and transparent. Now, if I go back to the documents section and then I decide to download the documents, now I have a premium subscription, so I can just simply click on the documents and they will automatically download, and then I will become a person that appears in the document request list. But for the purposes of today, since most of you are basic subscribers, you'll need to go through the order basket, which is found at the top here. So if I click here, it will take me to basically, and just like any other online ordering system. So you'll have to come in here and choose the documents that you want. Now I want to highlight this follow section. So this follow section allows you to follow the solicitation. So should there be any changes or any activity to the solicitation, you'll want to be notified. And so you can definitely select follow and receive notifications. And so that way you'll receive an email from merx saying, by the way, there's been a change to this solicitation. You need to go back onto merx to download that or read the information. In some cases, it'll be emailed to you, but it gives you the sense of knowing any activity related to the solicitation. And then, of course, all the documents are found here. You can select your delivery method. I recommend download. In this case, it's only selected the English documents for me because it knows that my account is English, and then they also have the French documents available. Just an FYI, not all buying organizations post in both languages, but a lot of them do, based on, you know, if they're in public sector or what have you. So I'll only need the English documents for myself. And then, of course, the amendment number 1, which is that COVID-19 document that was mentioned in the amendment. So, of course, it says $0 because I have a premium subscription to the national account, so it'll always say $0 for me. Now I click continue, and then that will give me a summary, and then I could just go ahead and process my order. Now, as a basic subscriber, if you were to download this solicitation, it would be that $60 per solicitation. So at this point, you would be charged that $60. And any amendments or any other documentation or any changes to the solicitation will have already been included in that $60, including your eBid submission. So just be aware of that. So as a basic pay as you go, it'll be $60 per solicitation. Whereas when you have a premium plan, everything is included. So we're going to go ahead and process that order. And have a drink of water because I'm talking very much. Okay, and then from here, I just simply click on the little Adobe icons, and then I can download those documents. Keith is asking, what if the documents show the tender is not appropriate for our company? Well, you should be able to find the information through the solicitation description that we went through earlier. It should be enough information for you to make that decision. But then once you've downloaded the tender documents, that's basically what you're paying for with merx. Cost of doing business. I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, if the information that is found here is not enough and you even contact the buying organization to ask more questions or what have you before downloading the documents, Uh, I don't know how else to explain it. If you upgraded to one of our premium accounts, you're still saving, because at $50 a month for a premium local subscription, you have access to unlimited documents, which we'll get into a little bit later. But you should be able to have enough information within this detailed information from the solicitation to be able to make that decision. Now, okay, where was I? Oh, okay, sorry. The document request list. So now you'll notice that I do appear now on the document request list here. And so because I've downloaded the documents, I become a part of the document request list. And then of course, the button here has changed to following, because I am now following this solicitation. I hope that answered your question, Keith. Now the Q&A section is decided by the buying organization if they want to do the questions and answers through the merx.com system. If not, in some cases, the tender documents would have all of the details as it relates to questions and answers. So they'll be able to tell you through that system, through their documents. So do be aware of that. In this case, I'm just showing the example of the questions and answers functionality that is available. In this case, you'll see somebody asked if there's the COVID-19 policy, and then they've answered the question. So you'll notice that this question and answer is not mine, because my name is not there. So if you do pose the question, your information will not be disclosed to the other document takers. So let's say closing date. I don't know, I'm just going to add this question. And then we submit this question, and that question goes directly to the buyer responsible for this solicitation. And now you'll notice here that it says by Isabelle, so we know that this is the question that I asked. And now the buyer can decide if they want to reply to you in private, or if they want to reply as a public question and answer. So you'll notice I have question number 4, and there's a question number 1. So that means 2 and 3 were responded to in private to another document taker. So that's the basis of the questions and answers section. But do always refer to the tender documents, because that's where the most accurate information is by the buying organization. And then the audit section is basically any activity related to the solicitation will be all that historical information will be available here. Sammy is asking, on the basic subscription, can we receive the daily new tenders based on the safe search criteria? Absolutely. I highly recommend that you do that as a basic subscriber. If you're not ready yet, do create those safe searches for sure. And then you'll start receiving those emails. We never know when a buying organization will post what you offer. So it's kind of like online dating. We're trying to connect you with business opportunities that make sense for you. So do set up those safe searches. It doesn't cost you anything. So do so. Now, when it comes to submitting a bid, so we know that this one has 71 days before closing, but I do want to go through the electronic bid submission process. So obviously it wouldn't happen all in the same day like I just did. I just downloaded the documents and now I'm submitting a bid. I would come back to the system and look for the solicitation, and I can do that in various ways. I can search for the solicitation number. I can go back to my ordered documents history if I wanted to. I can do that through here. So this is the one. I could just simply click on that solicitation number, and that will take me back to this space. So this is where you want to be in order to place your bid. So let's go ahead and place that bid, and then it'll ask me, okay, do you want to place a new bid or do you want to place a no bid? And the reason for that is because in some cases you have downloaded those documents, but you want to let the buyer know that you have decided to not bid on this, or you've decided to partner with one of those other document takers list organizations. So you'll just let them know that you're not going to place a bid. And you can change this also, and I will show you that after. So let's go ahead and place a new bid, click continue. And it'll take us through a 4-step process, or in this case, a 3-step process. And then you can go ahead, you'll see these were the documents that were mentioned in the solicitation description. It gave you all the information of the mandatory documents and the optional documents. So super simple. I'm just gonna, whoops. I can drag and drop. I can drag and drop my files into the browser, into the block here, or I can just browse for my files. I thought I could access my desktop, but apparently I can't. So I'll do it from here. So which document is this? Technical requirements. So I can do that. Whoops, right here. Upload my technical requirements. Boom, uploaded. So here's the thing. We know that it's closing in 71 days, but do not, under any circumstances, try to submit your bids 5 minutes before closing. If you have to upload any level of documents that are large, blueprints, or what have you, very, very large PDFs, don't do it at the last minute, because you could be disqualified if you miss that closing date and time, because it'll kick you out. So do be aware of that. Get yourself like a solid 2 hours so that you don't miss that rushing at the last minute and then you forget a file or whatever. It's very stressful. Don't do that to yourself. My documents are small, so it processed pretty quickly to upload, but just be aware of that. You can also upload a zip file, which is pretty cool if you like to keep things organized and structured, sort of like I do. I'm going to do that here. You'll have all of your files within the folders, all really well structured and organized. So you'll see it's still pending process because there's a lot of documents and folders and all of that. But you see, this was just to show you the example. Don't wait to the very last minute. Okay. And if you need to delete any, just, click on the pull down menu here and then remove that folder or whatever. However you want to do it, you can do so that way. Now, obviously, this is not the correct documents, but that's okay. I won't add any of these contractors license or training certificates because they're optional. I'm just going to click on next. Oh, in this case, it is asking us a special condition. Any special conditions we should know about? So no, I will just say no. And then we'll click on next. And now it says, don't forget to attach your pricing in the documents section. Oops, I think I removed that, but it's just for the example to give you the information. So let's click on next, and then we get to the bidder's authentication and compliance is found here. So this is the person that is allowed to bind your organization with the submission that you're submitting. So any resulting contract that is won, the person needs to be able to be authorized, like an authorized agent of your organization in order to submit that bid. Now, in this case, it does say that I have not read all of the documents, and that's because I just downloaded them. So it knows that I haven't had a chance to read everything, but we'll just disregard that for today's example. So you'll need to enter your full name and then your password that you use to log into your account, and then go ahead and click submit. And then it'll ask you to confirm that you want to submit your bid. And then we get our confirmation. It gives us a confirmation number. It gives us, let me zoom in on this. So we get a confirmation number, we get the date right up to the second, and the date and time of our submission date right up to the second. And then we have this information. This is completely legally binding as well. You can download a PDF version or print screen, whichever you prefer for your records. And then I can go back to my bid management area. And so this is the listing of all of my bid documents that I'm working on currently. So you'll see here, they were requesting a bid intent, so I could go here in this little, I think these are called kebab menus. So if I needed to make any edits to this, the one that we just submitted, I believe is this one. No, this one here. So if I needed to make any changes and if I wanted to withdraw and then resubmit or what have you, that would be included in this submission. There wouldn't be any extra fees as a basic subscriber because I've already paid for anything related to this solicitation. But that's basically it for submitting a bid. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I needed to touch on. I don't think so. So let's go back to the presentation. Just trying to see real quick if I missed anything. So tips for success. So we'll go through a little, I guess, a recap. Make sure that you read those tender documents fully and completely, and do take advantage of the questions period. Even if it's not on merx, that's a good space for you to get more information from the buyer responsible for that solicitation. Try to meet all those mandatory requirements. Get help. Now, what I mean by get help is have other people in your organization read the tender documents, a legal person, maybe an HR person, a technical person, a functional person, depends on the size of the RFP. But try and read through and understand what the requirements are and what the criteria is, and get others to help you with it. And if you want, there are other organizations out there. If you're new to this, there are organizations out there that that's all they do is they help you respond to RFPs. So if you want, do that. There's also a ton of books on procurement at your, Amazon, local chapters, what have you. There's tons of books. It's a huge process. And depending on what you're offering, it could be a very, very challenging situation. So do get help. Don't be afraid. And then look at those subcontracting opportunities and partnership opportunities through that document request list when it's available. And of course, I already mentioned that, but work with others from your team. It's very, very helpful. Now, let's go back to the subscription packages. So we'll talk about that. So we do have the annual and a monthly subscription package. So you can, I have everything disclosed here. There's nothing to hide here. You can sign up. I think most of you today are basic pay as you go. So you do have that solicitation. It's $60 per solicitation, but you'll only have access to anything related to that solicitation. Try for free, which basically means sign up for those the search emails, get those notifications so that you can start seeing what is on merx related to your good or service. And then once you start seeing what's available, and especially if it's seasonal work, if you're a snow plow person, we're not going to see, those types of contracts in February. We're going to see them more in the summertime because they're getting ready for winter. So, maybe you're looking for seasonal work. So it makes sense for you to set up as a pay-as-you-go subscription. And then we have the premium accounts, obviously local. Local is basically a province of choice. So you can choose the province that you're interested in. One thing I do want to mention too, though, is we do have some of our buying organizations that have chosen to pay for your access to their solicitations. So that includes the Alberta Electric System Operator organization, the City of Airdrie in Alberta, the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. We have the Manitoba government also, and Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries. So you have access to their solicitations. If you sign up for pay-as-you-go, you will have access to those solicitations for sure. Now, the premium, obviously, you can pay annual or save money by paying annual, or you can pay monthly if you prefer, and then select the local subscription is select your province. Then there's also the regional account, which basically, if you want to do business with your neighboring provinces, then you can do so with the regional. There's 4 different regional. I'm just trying to find, I have them here. So we have Western Canada, which includes British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Central, which has Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. And East, which obviously Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. All the subscriptions do include the plans from Northern Canada. So the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, Yukon are also included in all of the premium packages. And remember that custom profile, super important in the premium packages there. And then, I have some little animations that I forgot about. 50% off with the annual package. So totally worth it. And as it relates to our US tenders package, our US I guess our US our US tenders has grown quite a bit. We just acquired a company called Periscope Holdings. And so now we have access to even more US government agency business. So if you're interested in that service, you can call that 81844 number, or I will be sending you more details about this. So if you're interested in it, I can get you in touch with my colleague, Richard, who's happy to help you with that. And then of course we have our our private construction service as well. So for those of you who are currently in the construction industry in Canada, you can receive notifications of emails of projects that make sense to you. Like I mentioned, those local Tim Hortons and hotels and condos and you name it, all of them, Canadian Tire, all of them, when they're being built, you can find that information on merx.com. And of course, those procurement portals that I did mention earlier. So if you're looking to do business with BGIS, which is huge, we've just updated their portal. There's lots of interesting information going on there too. So I do recommend that you click. When you get this presentation, you'll be able to click to access all of these portals. So lots of great information there, and they are looking for more vendors. So always worth having a look. City of Calgary also has a portal, the Ontario Ministry of Transportation, Metrolinx, JLL, Desjardins, and Enbridge. Now, all open solicitations from these organizations, except for Enbridge and Desjardins, are available on merx.com. So you will be able to find those solicitations through merx.com. So, if you create a safe search, you'll be able to find them as well if they are of interest to you. And again, another little quick recap, if you haven't done so already, because most of you are basic pay-as-you-go subscriber, do consider a premium package. And then of course you get that 50% off with the annual package. Do create that customized profile and do enter your working categories. So for those of you on the basic package, do focus on getting that working category set up for sure. And those of you with a premium package, get that custom profile set up. Create those safe search, get those emails, ask for a debrief when you see that you haven't won a contract. Look into private construction US tenders if that's of interest. I will be sending you an email probably later today, if not tomorrow morning, that will have more resources available to help you be successful while using merx.com. And then lastly, this is how to reach us, our 1-800 number. All of our agents are working remotely and they are available from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So there you have it. Now, I believe I have answered everyone's questions. I don't see any other questions, but feel free to continue to ask your questions. I do want to thank you in the meantime for being here with me today. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. I'll stay on for responding any other questions. So I'm just going to stop the recording. So thank you. Bye.